very difficult to find a refrigerator. We had to go to several locations to find one. We finally did, but it was tricky. Younger baby boomers really aren't interested in the cookie cutter style of communities that are available. So you're probably going to see more like Jimmy Buffett latitude Margaritaville communities sprout up across the country. And there's people out there who want to live with like-minded people. Like they all like music, so they want to live in a community where they can play in the band or play their drums or toot their trumpet. Or they're writers and artists, and they want to live together. Nudist colonies are also popular in the South, especially down near Tampa and in Florida. They're very popular. There's also a new market emerging in the build-to-rent arena. The homes are built in communities, which makes it easier for the builder to construct. Property management is simplified because it costs less over time. I mean, the builders get in, they build, and then they don't have to maintain. They don't have to deal with mortgage and lenders and title insurance and all that stuff. So they can get in and get out and turn it over to a property management company. So the concept of rent instead of buy in a community works well for young families as well as retirees. So millennials who can't afford to buy a house yet, but they're not interested in a garden-style apartment or a high-rise condo, they'll be interested in that. And people who've owned their house for many years may not feel like buying another house yet, or they can't afford to. They didn't pull enough equity out of the sale of their home. So there are landlords like the idea because rents for single-family homes are growing about 4% annually now. And the rental market isn't as volatile as a new home sales market is. The floor plans are very simple. There's no elevators to maintain. There's no tennis courts or swimming pools. Young and old alike enjoy the idea of renting a home, even though they don't own it. And like I said, retirees are tired of maintaining a home, and renting a new one is an alternative, even if it's just for a year and while they figure out where they really want to live. And for the renters on the lower income end, government assistance is needed to improve accessibility for tenants. There are community development block grants that allow low-income older adults and landlords to be assisted in modifications. Medicaid waivers are available, but not many people have long-term care insurance, so some policies will pay for accessibility features like ramps and grab bars, but Medicare needs to be expanded to provide more support for this group. So providing affordable and accessible housing for an aging population that's safe and reasonable is a challenge that requires immediate attention. And I think it's one reason why we're seeing multiple offers, and baby boomers are afraid to move. They don't have any place they really want to go to, so it makes them more anxious. And many in their 50s are not financially prepared for retirement, and many older adults live in single-family homes, which makes it difficult for a community to provide new housing and better options for transportation for that demographic. And I think private and nonprofit sectors will play an increased role in providing affordable and suitable housing for increasing numbers of older adults. But aging in place for most Americans, many Americans, is fine, but the home has to be safe and accessible. As far as senior households go, a little over 80% of adults live by themselves in detached single-family units with no younger generation in the home because the kids have moved out. The house has more bedrooms and empty space than what is needed. Their current older home probably needs updating. It was fine when the owners were young and they first bought. They could handle the stairs and the upkeep, and they had kids. But once the children are grown and gone, the 4-bedroom colonial on a large lot is often too much to deal with. And deferred maintenance becomes an increasing problem. And there's multiple stairways. Older adults don't go down the basement. And issues like water seepage and mold can be a problem if it's left unchecked. A low percentage of existing homes have universal design features that would help someone to age in place. The bulk of the living area should be on one level. You should not have a 4-bedroom upstairs colonial that you have to take steep steps to get to and only a half bath on the main level. It doesn't make sense. You can take equity from your home and do remodeling to accommodate your needs as you age, but things wear out and you'll probably decide to sell the house anyway. If you've already taken the cash out to remodel, well, then you've inadvertently lowered the value of your home if you reduce the number of bedrooms by creating a large bathroom out of one of the smaller bedrooms. Today's families looking for houses in your neighborhood are similar to what your family was when you first started out. They have young children. They need the extra bedrooms. And many homeowners don't want to spend the money to make improvements. Their thought is, well, I've lived here a long time. The cost is too high. I mean, a ramp could cost $2,500 or more, and a stair lift can run $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the stair configuration. Home elevators can run from a low of $20,000 to more than $60,000, depending on whether there's even space to accommodate the shaft in an existing area, or does one have to be built? An efficient plan to improve the safety of the entire home can easily run $50,000 to $100,000. But when you add up the cost of assisted living care and the cost to age in place is low in comparison. And it is an easier decision to make, but trying to find a place that you like and make the decision while you are able to is very important. Because the decision to make the move involves researching where to live, how to get there with the least amount of stress possible. Being able to afford the new home depends on how much you'll get for your current home minus the moving expenses and the cost to sell. Many baby boomers will prefer to rent in a new area first to try it out, so they may rent a storage space while they decide. And there's a lack of inventory for rent across the country that has comfortable and safe accommodations with few steps. Many active adult communities restrict the ability to rent for any length of time, so there's that. But communities are springing up around the country that are rentals geared for an older generation, and I think that's a good thing, as long as it's in an area that's accessible to shopping and hospitals and grocery and the other necessities of life that seniors want and expect. Well, what's the answer? The housing prices are going up. America has a serious housing shortage on its hands. To keep up with housing needs, builders need to construct 1.5 million new homes every year. That's a lot of houses. Millennials are entering the home buying market now, and retirees are competing with them for smaller starter homes because the shortage of available housing is there. Prices have increased. It puts the dream of home ownership out of the range of many. Builders are jumping into the lower priced housing market, but there's not a lot of incentive to build at that price point since their profit isn't as much. Takes many months of assembling the land and going through the development process and then marketing to the public. Every year, the number of U.S. households grows by more than 1 million. Housing starts don't continue to meet that need. They can't. They don't even come close. Senior living providers and designers and builders must not only understand the needs of the growing middle-class boomer market, but also create housing options that solve the problems they will face as they age. An increase in the use of technology will help greatly, and innovation takes time. Land development, acquisition. I mean, they're not making any more land. Design, permits, moving the new residents into the space. It doesn't happen overnight. And there's no way to slow down the aging process, so the alternative is to speed up the solution process, which is a challenge. Discussion of the problem is important, but actions speak louder than words. After all, society is dealing with children, baby boomers, who were raised by parents whose answer to rebellious behavior was because I said so, and that leaves baby boomers to rebel throughout their life. That determination and independence now translates into an attitude of wanting to retire how they want to, when they want to, and where they want to. Is there a housing solution combining affordability, a vibrant social environment, and quality of service? We'll tell, but time is running out. So thanks for joining me today. It's an interesting thought process to think about the future of housing and the shortage of housing, which is causing prices to rise rapidly. What's going to happen? Well, time will tell, and we will see, but interest rates are very low right now, and people want to buy. But it also, because of lack of inventory, jacks the prices up, and people will have to be paying higher prices just to get into a house. But that's what they want, and that's what they deserve. So we need to speed up the housing creation process and create more for the baby boomers who are aging and aging rapidly. Thanks for joining me. If you want to contact